guys, and welcome back to A Dinosaur in the Library. I'm Dawn, and I'm here to give you my Nonfiction November TBR. So, if you saw my video I posted last week, I announced that I'm going to be doing the Nonfiction November Challenge, and I will link the two people who are hosting it down below. And there are 4 categories to pick from, but I don't think mine all span those categories. But my reading time is really limited by class, so there's that. And my TBR is way more ambitious than I'm actually going to be able to get through, but I just wanted to at least give myself a TBR to work from. So hopefully if I do end up with some extra time, perhaps over Thanksgiving or something, I can pick these up and finish them out before the end of the month. But I also have a pretty decent sized stack of recommendations for you, just in case you are not really usually into nonfiction, but you really want to do the Nonfiction Challenge. And I'll link, like I said, the 2 hosts below, my own announcement video, so you can go check out what the challenge is all about. But essentially it's just to encourage people to read more nonfiction. So the books that I am definitely sure I'm going to get to, and this one I've actually already started, but I'll be finishing it in November, and that's Learning the Hard Way, Masculinity, Place, and the Gender Gap in Education by Edward North. And I'm reading this for my Education and Gender in Comparative Perspective class. So I have to finish this one, so at least I'll have one chalked up for this month. The second one is also for my class, and that is Lessons from Mount Kilimanjaro, Schooling, Community, and Gender in East Africa. And I've never read this before, so I'm not really sure what it's about, but it has to do with gender and education in East Africa, and that is the sum total of my knowledge on this. But I will be sure to let you know what I think of it, because I think it's going to be really good. The next one is sort of for my class. I'm reading up on it so that I can use it in my dissertation / prospectus that I have to write. So I really need to get on it. And that is Feminist Theory from Margin to Center by Bell Hooks. And I read this years ago, but it has been quite a number of years, so I need to get back on it. And I had started it, entered the first chapter, and just hadn't been able to get back to it. But I'm going to try to get it finished this month so that I can use it both for the paper I have to write for my education class and also for my upcoming preliminary statement that is due very, very soon. So wish me luck. And then the rest of these are books that I just really hope I can get to this month. This one I know I can because it's super short. It's The Ghost in the Sloss Furnaces by the Birmingham Historical Society, and we picked this up. We went home for a visit, and if you're new here, you don't know, home for me is Central Alabama. I'm from near Birmingham, and one of my favorite places on earth is Vulcan in Birmingham. And I'll leave a link to the museum and everything down below, and you can go check him out. But we picked this up in the gift shop because A, I love Sloss Furnaces and ghost stuff, and B, it's from my home area, so super interesting. But as you can see, it's very short. Got all the drawings in it, so I should definitely be able to get this one done. Let's at least hope so. This one is also kind of short, but it is Beyond Magenta, Transgender Teens Speak Out by Susan Coughlin. And this is just portraits and stories from actual transgender teens, talking about their transition, talking about their lives, and I'm flipping and finding no pictures, talking about their lives and what it was like to transition and what it's like to be a transgender teen in the US. And it's, you know, it was a Stonewall Honor book, and I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I've honestly just really been wanting to read it, so hopefully I'll get this one. It's checked out from my university library, so hopefully I will get it done before it's due. And these next 2 I own, and I'm almost 100% positive I'm not going to get to this month, but I'm being hopeful. I'm being really hopeful. And the first one is Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things by Jenny Lawson, and this has been getting a lot of play recently just because it's brand new, and I read her first book. I think it's Let's Just Pretend This Never Happened, and she writes as the bloggess on the internet, and I loved her first book. I thought it was hilarious, and this one, despite its cheerful cover is supposed to be about depression and other things, and I've heard nothing but awesomeness about this, so I'm very excited to get to read it. And then the last one, You're Never Weird on the Internet, Almost, a memoir by Felicia Day. And I just love Felicia Day. I love the Guild, and I just think she's awesome. So I really want to get a chance to read this. And that's all of the books that I'm hoping I'll get to this month. Like I say, those last couple I'm probably not getting to until December, but I'm gonna try. But I do have quite a number of recommendations for you, just in case you're not familiar with nonfiction, because a lot of people aren't. They feel intimidated by nonfiction because they feel like maybe it's like history class in high school or something, and it's really not. Nonfiction can be, and for me, is definitely as engaging as a novel a lot of times. And yes, there are some poorly written nonfiction books, but I guarantee you that you've read some poorly written fictional books too that were horrifying and that made reading just a chore. So don't think that all nonfiction is the same, because it's not. So I have a couple of different kinds stacked up to give you a few recommendations. Now, one of my favorite kinds of nonfiction is autobiography, biography, and memoir. I specifically like autobiographies and memoirs, but the first one I'm going to recommend is, this is an ARC that I went on Goodreads quite a while ago, and I think I've recommended this in LGBT videos, but this is called Cowboys, Armageddon, and the Truth, How a Gay Child Was Saved from Religion by Scott Terry. And this, it's a signed edition. I absolutely loved this book. He grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household, and he was rejected at multiple levels, and he came out as gay. So this is his story of growing up in that, and it's amazing. It's absolutely an awesome memoir, and you should pick this up whether you're looking for something this month or for later on. You should check it out. The second one is I Hate My Selfie, a collection of essays by Shane Dawson, and I don't really watch his channel that much. If you don't know, he is quite the big YouTuber, but my wife loves him, and she originally bought the book and said it was just really great, so I picked it up and read it, and I read it in like one sitting. It was really cute, a lot of it. Some of it hit a little too close to home because he had a childhood that was just as dysfunctional as mine in some ways, and I just honestly really liked it. I liked it way more than I expected I would. And I'm actually looking forward to his second book, which he is working on now, I hear. So yeah, and one cool thing about this book is he gave the titles to his fans, and all of the chapter images are fan art. So I thought that was a really interesting touch, and a really nice touch, actually. This one's super creepy. He starred in a horror movie, so it was pretty interesting. But yeah, so it's a really quick read, but it's all about his life and growing up and becoming Shane Dawson of YouTube. The next book is another memoir, and that is Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal by Jeanette Winterson. And I've recommended this before as well. Jeanette Winterson is a lesbian author, and if you've read any of her books, or if you've read Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, I almost said Orange is the New Black. That's not it. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. You will recognize a lot of things in this book, because Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit is a very fictionalized version of her life, but you get a lot more detail about her being adopted and her family life and what it was like when she came out and different things like that. So I loved this book. Could not recommend it more. And the last memoir I have is, I don't mind text library copies, but when I ordered it, I thought it had the book jacket on it, and I love the edition that this is, the book cover. This is Milking the Moon by Eugene Walter. And Eugene Walter grew up in Alabama, in Mobile, and the subtitle is A Southerner's Story of Life on This Planet, and he was just amazing. He knew people like Truman Capote and Tallulah Bankhead, who I am related to. So yeah, I absolutely loved Eugene Walter. You can't really see it now. There's a picture of a grave on my bookshelf, and that is his grave in Mobile, because I love him that much. I went and took pictures and left little monkeys at his grave, and if you read the book, you'll know why I left monkeys. So check this out. it will not disappoint. Okay, the next book is not really a memoir. It's an autobiographical account of something he did, but it's The Year of Reading Dangerously: How 50 Not Great Books and 2 Not So Great Ones Saved My Life by Andy Miller. And I did an entire video review of this, which I will leave below, link below, and I just raved about this. I loved it quite a lot, and I had issues here and there with it, but I thought it was a really great book. And if you're on BookTube, obviously you like books, and if you're looking for some nonfiction to get into, you could certainly do worse than picking up nonfiction about books, right? So go check this one out. And then the rest of them are just sort of randomly assorted. This book I have recommended before as well. That's The Hundredth Monkey by Ken Keyes Jr. It's nonfiction about ending nuclear war, ending nuclear proliferation, and this is actually available online for free legally. The book is not copyrighted for that exact reason, because the author wanted this to be disseminated as widely as possible. So I will try to remember to leave a link to an online version below so that you can read this. The next one is Salvation on Sand Mountain: Snake Handling and Redemption in Southern Appalachia by Dennis Covington. And this book is written by a man from Birmingham, and Sand Mountain is up in North Alabama, and he writes about snake handling churches in North Alabama. And if you've never read anything about them, they're fascinating. I have a degree in religion. This sort of thing just interests me in general, but you should definitely check this out if you have any interest in religion in general, or just interesting subsections of culture. So the next one I think I've probably talked about on here, I can't remember, and that is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I really enjoyed this book. This is the book I was looking for when I read How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran, and I just love this. I ran it and raved about it to multiple friends who I'm sure were tired of hearing about it at that point, but you should definitely pick this up. It's just sets of essays about different topics and about feminism and life and everything else, so you should definitely pick this up. And then the next to last one I have is Hollow Earth: The Long and Curious History of Imagining Strange Lands, Fantastical Creatures, Advanced Civilizations, and Marvelous Machines Beneath the Earth's Surface by David Standish. And I've mentioned this one before, even if just in a haul. I finally ordered myself a copy of this. I really wish I could have afforded the hardcover because it had gorgeous color illustrations on the inside, but this is all about Hollow Earth theory, like Journey to the Center of the Earth, that sort of thing. I've always been fascinated by that, and there are people who still believe it, or at least who did until a few years ago. I don't know if they still do or not, but it's a really interesting look at that, and I loved this. And then the final one is by one of my favorite nonfiction authors of all time, and that's Sarah Vowell. And then the book I picked, I have 5 or 6 of hers, but the book I picked to show you is Assassination Vacation. This book is all about the presidential assassinations, obviously, in the U.S., and she's got a lot of different things going on there. She talks about those, but then she, you hear her voice too, and things that she does at the same time, and all of her nonfiction is like this. And she has a brand new nonfiction book out that I cannot lay my hands on yet because I just don't have the money, but I'm very excited. So if you have a chance, pick up the new one. I think it's called Lafayette in the Somewhat United States, but if you can't, I guarantee your library has at least one of her books, and I love her. I love all of her books. I had the good fortune to hear her speak and meet her. I was completely incoherent when I met her because I fangirl at authors, but all of her books are amazing. Highly recommend. Go get them now. So those are all my recommendations for Nonfiction November and my TBR, or at least my hopeful TBR. Let me know if you're participating down below. I would love to know what you guys are planning on reading for Nonfiction November, or just November in general. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will probably be a review of several children's and middle grade LGBT books. I read 3 or 4 over the course of the last couple of weeks because they were picture books. in middle grade, so I got through them really quickly, and I have a few things that I want to say about them, so that'll probably be it. But we'll see. So I'll see you soon. Bye.